they called me ungrateful. Said I abandoned my family after success. What they never told you is how I paid their bills, funded their dreams, and lost myself in the process. This isn't just a story about walking away. It's about breaking free from the people who loved my money more than they ever loved me. Evelyn had always believed that family came first. It was a value drilled into her since childhood. Her parents, conservative and proud, taught her that sacrifice for loved ones was the highest form of love. And so, Evelyn sacrificed. Growing up, Evelyn had been the responsible one, the achiever, the one who followed the rules, stayed out of trouble, and got top grades. Her younger brothers, Nathan and Lucas, were the opposite, carefree, reckless, and always somehow getting out of the messes they created. Her parents adored them. Evelyn, they respected, but often treated her more like a soldier in their army than a daughter. When Evelyn got a full scholarship to a top university, her parents acted proud, but their focus remained on her brothers. Lucas dropped out of community college after one semester. Nathan tried a few jobs, but never stayed long. Evelyn, meanwhile, graduated with honors and landed a high-paying job in tech by the time she was 24. That's when the calls began. Evie, we're a little behind on the mortgage this month. Can you help us out? Nathan's car broke down and he needs to get to work. Can you lend him a few thousand? Lucas wants to start a vlog. He needs a good camera and some editing software. It's his dream. It wasn't lending. It was giving. Evelyn paid. Over the years, Evelyn had sent thousands of dollars to her family. She helped pay off her parents' mortgage, covered tuition and living expenses for Nathan and Lucas, and even helped with vacations and home repairs. Each time she tried to say no, her mother's guilt trip would follow. We sacrificed everything for you. And now, when we need you, you're turning your back on us? So Evelyn gave, and gave, and gave. By the time she was 32, she had bought her apartment. Small but modern, in a safe neighborhood. She had worked for it, every inch, and she was proud. But Lucas didn't see it that way. He visited one night after a fight with his girlfriend and asked if he could crash on her couch. Evelyn said no. She had an early meeting, and Lucas had a history of disrespecting her space. Lucas exploded. You're so selfish. We're family. I needed you, and you slammed the door in my face. 2 days later, Evelyn came home to find her apartment door jammed shut. It had been sealed with industrial foam. A neighbor's security camera caught Lucas doing it. Evelyn had no choice but to call the police. Her parents were furious. You called the police on your brother? What kind of sister does that? The kind whose door he sealed shut, Evelyn replied. Still, her mother cried. Her father accused her of betraying them. Lucas claimed she had overreacted. Nathan stayed silent. That night, Evelyn sat alone, staring at her phone. She scrolled through years of bank statements. She had paid over $120,000 to her family over the past decade, and yet they treated her like a villain. She told herself to stay calm, to not say anything. But then she saw a Facebook post, a picture of her mother, tearful, with a long caption about how Evelyn had abandoned her family. It was full of lies. It made Evelyn out to be cruel, selfish, and heartless. The comments were even worse. Some, kids forget where they came from. Money changes people. Poor parents, they gave her everything. None of them knew the truth. And Evelyn had had enough. She opened the Facebook app and tapped New Post. In clear, simple words, Evelyn told her side. She listed every financial support she had provided over the years. The tuition, the cars, the mortgage, the vacations. She explained how her family treated her like an ATM, not a person. She described how Lucas vandalized her home and how her parents blamed her instead. She ended the post with these words. I didn't turn my back on my family. They never saw me as part of it unless I was giving them money. This time, I'm choosing myself. She hit the post and waited. The reaction was immediate. Some relatives messaged her in shock, asking if it was true. Others commented that they had never known the full story. One of her aunts even called out her mother in the comments for hiding the truth. Then her phone rang. Her mother. Evelyn, What the hell did you just do? I told the truth, Evelyn replied calmly. You're humiliating this family. Your father is ashamed. Have you thought about how Nathan and Lucas feel? Did they think about how I felt? When did Lucas vandalize my home? When I was paying everyone's bills while being treated like a stranger? Silence. Then her mother said coldly, You're destroying this family. If you do this, don't expect to come back. We are no longer family. Evelyn took a deep breath. You destroyed this family, Mom. Not me. And she hung up. No tears. No guilt. Just relief. That was the last time she heard from them. At first, the silence felt strange. No more emergency calls. No more texts asking for money. No more guilt tripping. It was quiet and peaceful. Evelyn focused on work. She took on a big project and finished it early. Her boss was impressed. Within weeks, she was promoted. Standing in her new office, looking out at the city skyline, she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Pride, not because of what she had given, but because of what she had achieved. For herself. She celebrated by doing something she had always wanted to do. She booked a solo trip to Italy. For years, she had postponed it. Every time she wanted to spend money on herself, someone else needed it more. But now, no one could stop her. When her plane landed in Florence, she felt like a new person. She wandered the cobbled streets, explored ancient cathedrals, and ate pasta in cozy cafes. She visited art museums and sat by the Arno River watching the sunset. For once, she was living for herself. One afternoon, while sipping cappuccino near Piazza della Signoria, a stranger approached her. You seem to like this place, he said. Evelyn looked up and smiled. I think I just fell in love with this city. He smiled and sat down. Me too. I'm Alex. They talked for hours. He was from New York, an interior designer, visiting for the third time. He loved European architecture. His voice was calm and warm. He didn't ask about her family. He didn't judge her. He just saw her for who she was. And Evelyn realized something. For the first time in her life, she wasn't being seen for what she could provide. Not for money, not for sacrifices. Just her. Over the next few days, they explored Florence together. Shared meals, laughed. It was light. It was easy. And Evelyn felt something she had long forgotten. Joy. On her last night in Florence, she sat with Alex on a rooftop terrace watching the city lights. I used to think my happiness depended on my family, she said quietly. Alex didn't speak. He just listened. But I've learned I don't have to beg for love from people who never truly valued me. He nodded. You don't. And in that moment, Evelyn knew. She was finally free. The moment Evelyn's mother's post went viral, everything shifted. Her phone buzzed nonstop with messages and notifications. People who had never met her flooded the comment section, offering sympathy to her mother, vilifying Evelyn. So sad when successful children forget where they came from. Parents sacrifice everything for their kids, and this is the thanks they get? Evelyn must have let money get to her head. Evelyn stared at the screen, anger boiling inside her. Not because strangers were passing judgment, but because her own family had twisted the truth. They had turned her into a villain. They didn't say she had paid the majority of their mortgage. That she had covered tuition bills, bought groceries, paid medical bills, and helped both Nathan and Lucas buy their first cars. They didn't mention how Lucas had vandalized her apartment, sealing the door with industrial foam, and how she had to call the police to protect herself. They left all that out. Instead, they painted the picture of a cold, heartless daughter who had abandoned her family. Evelyn sat silently for a long time. Should she ignore it? Let them control the narrative? Stay quiet like she always did? No, not this time. She opened her app and tapped on New Post. If my family wants to go public, she thought, then let's tell the whole truth. She wrote and wrote. Every dollar she had sent over the past decade. The mortgage payments, the tuition fees, the vacations, the emergencies. The time Lucas nearly broke her front door. They had only ever reached out when they needed money. She ended her post with one sentence. I didn't turn my back on my family. My family only saw me as part of them when I was paying for them. Now, I choose to stand up for myself. She hit post. Within hours, the post went viral. People were shocked. Some relatives messaged her privately. Is this true, Evelyn? You supported them all these years? Others commented publicly, questioning her mother's version of events. Aunt Marissa even defended Evelyn in the comments. I always wondered how they managed those big bills. Now I know. Evelyn, I'm so sorry, but the loudest reaction came from her mother. Her phone rang. Evelyn picked up. Evelyn, what the hell did you just do? Her mother's voice was trembling with fury. I told the truth. You told your version. I told mine. You humiliated this family. Your father is too ashamed to leave the house. Nathan and Lucas are furious. How could you do this? Evelyn clenched the phone. Did they think about how I felt when Lucas destroyed my apartment? Did they care when I skipped meals to pay their tuition bills? Silence. Then her mother's voice dropped cold. You're destroying this family. If you do this, don't expect to come back. We are no longer your family. Evelyn closed her eyes. Mom, you destroyed this family, not me. And she hung up. No tears, no regret, just relief. After that call, everything went silent. No angry texts, no guilt-tripping voicemails. It was as if her family had erased her, but Evelyn didn't feel guilty. She felt free. The evenings she used to spend solving their problems were now hers. She had peace. For the first time in years, she slept through the night. She focused on work. Her company was launching a major project, and Evelyn poured herself into it. Weeks passed. She led her team with energy and confidence. Her work shone. Then the email came. Subject: promotion. She opened it slowly. When she read the message, her heart thudded with disbelief. She had been promoted, a corner office, a salary increase, full creative control over upcoming projects. She walked into her new office, floor-to-ceiling windows offering a view of the city. She stood there for a long time, watching the sun touch the skyline. For the first time, she felt her success was hers, not something she had to share, not something she had to apologize for. It was just hers. She decided to travel. She had always dreamed of going to Italy, but guilt and obligations had kept her grounded. This time, nothing held her back. She booked a ticket, one way to Florence. When the plane touched down, she felt like she had entered another life. The narrow cobblestone streets, the warm scent of espresso, the echo of church bells. It was like a painting had come to life. She walked and walked, through markets, through cathedrals, through galleries. She ate pasta on terraces and watched sunsets over the Arno River. One afternoon, in a small cafe near Piazza della Signoria, she sat sipping cappuccino. A man approached. You seem to like this place, he said with a smile. She looked up. He was tall, relaxed, light brown hair, kind eyes. I think I just fell in love with the city, she replied. He pulled out a chair and sat down. I'm Alex. Evelyn. They talked for hours, about art, architecture, life. He was from New York, an interior designer. He loved Europe, loved Florence most of all, and Evelyn realized something. This was the first time in years someone saw her without expectations. Not as a paycheck. Not as a problem solver. Just Evelyn. Over the next few days, they explored the city together. Gelato in the evenings, quiet conversations on park benches, walks through narrow alleys where history whispered from the walls. He didn't ask about her past. He didn't need to. He saw her for who she was. Free, independent, alive. One night, they sat on a rooftop terrace, wine glasses in hand. The city lights sparkled below. I used to think I couldn't be happy unless my family accepted me, Evelyn said. Alex looked at her. And now? She smiled. Now I realize I never needed their approval to be happy. I just needed to choose myself. When Evelyn returned home weeks later, she wasn't the same woman. She had changed, grown, let go. She embraced her life with joy, took yoga classes, met new friends, spent weekends hiking or curled up with a book. Her phone stayed quiet, and she loved it. Then one morning, as she poured coffee, her phone buzzed. A message. Aunt Linda, Evelyn, I know you don't care about the family anymore, but your parents are struggling. Your dad works night shifts at a warehouse. Your mom is cleaning houses. They look tired. Evelyn stared at the message. She had seen this coming. Without her money, they had no choice but to fend for themselves. She put the phone down. Said nothing. A few days later, she heard from an old friend that Nathan had lost his job. Lucas was still trying to become a social media star, but she didn't feel guilty or anger. She felt nothing. They had chosen their path, and now they had to walk it. Christmas arrived. She expected to feel lonely, but she didn't. She invited friends over. Aunt Daisy, who had quietly supported her through it all, came early with a tray of cookies and a hug. "I'm so proud of you," she said. Evelyn smiled. "You're the only person in the family who's ever said that." Daisy's eyes filled with emotion. "I just wish they had realized your worth." Evelyn nodded but said nothing. That evening, her apartment was filled with laughter, music, and warmth. No fake smiles, no guilt, just real joy. At midnight, she stepped onto her balcony. The city lights twinkled. The air was cold, crisp, alive. She took a deep breath. No more invisible burdens, no more being used, just Evelyn. Living her life, on her terms. Later that night, she sat in her armchair, sipping wine. Her phone rested silently on the table. She stared, out the window, watching the streetlights glow. She had once believed family was everything, that if she gave enough, they would love her. But she had been wrong. Family isn't blood. It's the people who see your worth, who loves you without strings. Her parents had cut her out of the will, as if that would be her punishment. But it wasn't punishment. It was freedom. They had given her the final gift. They had set her free. She whispered aloud to no one. I lived for them. Now, I live for myself. And that wasn't selfish. That was survival. That was peace. That was Evelyn's choice. It speaks to anyone who has ever been made to feel guilty for choosing themselves. We're told family means sacrifice. But love without respect isn't love. It's obligation. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. What would you have done in Evelyn's place? Would you keep sacrificing or choose freedom? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to follow for more real stories that matter. The morning sun filtered gently through Evelyn's curtains as she sat at her desk, sipping her coffee and reviewing some documents. Her apartment was filled with warm, peaceful energy, a far cry from the chaos her life had once been. Her work had not only stabilized but thrived, and for the first time in years, Evelyn felt whole. Not because of accolades or validation from others, but because she had finally reclaimed her life. 3 months had passed since Christmas. Winter had given way to early signs of spring. Trees had begun budding, the icy winds had turned softer, and Evelyn had found a rhythm in her days that brought genuine contentment. She had started volunteering at a local mentorship program, helping young women navigate careers in business. It was fulfilling in a way her corporate success had never quite managed. She shared lessons not just about strategy or marketing, but about boundaries, self-worth, and knowing when to walk away. One Saturday afternoon, she was preparing slides for a workshop when her phone buzzed. It was a message from her cousin Maya. Evelyn, I don't want to drag you back into anything, but something happened. You should probably know. Evelyn hesitated before typing back. What is it? Maya replied quickly. Your mother had a fall. She broke her hip. She's in the hospital. Dad says she's asking for you. Evelyn stared at the message, her heart silent. A year ago, she would have dropped everything. But now, she wasn't sure. It wasn't that she wished harm upon them, she didn't, But she had also learned that rushing back into the fire often left her burnt. After a moment, she responded, "Thanks for letting me know. I'll think about it." Maya didn't pressure her. That in itself felt like kindness. That night, Evelyn sat on her balcony, the cool air brushing her skin. Her thoughts drifted back to memories of her mother before everything became so complicated. There had been warmth once, care, laughter. But somewhere along the line, love turned into expectation, and expectation became obligation. Her value had been measured in dollar signs, not devotion. Still, she couldn't deny the small ache that tugged at her chest. Perhaps closure required not just walking away, but confronting the past one last time, on her terms. 2 days later, Evelyn entered the hospital with a bouquet of soft yellow tulips. The hallways smelled like antiseptic and whispers. Room 307. She paused at the door. Inside, her mother lay asleep, looking more fragile than Evelyn had ever remembered. Her skin, once firm and proud, was now lined and pale. For a moment, Evelyn felt like a child again, caught between resentment and longing. Her mother stirred, then opened her eyes. "Evelyn," she whispered. "Hi, Mom." A pause. Then tears filled her mother's eyes. "You came." "I did. I didn't think you would." Evelyn sat beside her, placing the flowers on the table. "I wasn't sure myself, but I needed to see you. Not out of guilt, but for me." Her mother nodded slowly. "I was wrong. About many things." Evelyn said nothing. "I took your kindness for granted. We all did. I don't expect forgiveness, but I needed to say it." Evelyn looked at her mother. Truly, looked at her. Beyond the past, the pain, the bitterness, there was still a woman there who had once loved her. Broken, perhaps, but still human. "I forgive you," she said quietly. "But I won't go back to the way things were." "I know." They talked for an hour. Not everything was resolved. Some wounds were too deep for words. But Evelyn walked away with a lightness in her chest she hadn't felt in years. In the weeks that followed, her mother moved into a small assisted living facility. Nathan reached out once, apologizing awkwardly. Lucas never did. Evelyn didn't chase them. Instead, she poured her energy into her present. Her relationship with Alex, the charming stranger from Florence, had blossomed into something real. He visited her in the spring, bringing his easy humor and gentle understanding. They traveled together, learned each other's rhythms. He never tried to fix her. He just stood beside her. "You don't need to be anyone else," he told her once. "You're already enough." For her birthday in June, Evelyn invited close friends, Aunt Daisy and a few of her mentees, to a quiet dinner on a rooftop overlooking the city. As candles flickered and laughter rang out under the stars, she looked around and realized this was family, not bound by blood, but by love, truth, and choice. She stood up and tapped her glass. "I just want to say thank you for being here, for showing me that healing is possible, that freedom isn't selfish, and that the people who truly matter will love you just as you are." Aunt Daisy raised her glass. "To Evelyn, to new beginnings." They clinked glasses. The night was filled with joy. Years later, Evelyn would write a book. A memoir titled Unburdened, The Choice to Be Free. It would touch hearts across the world. Stories poured into her inbox, people sharing how her journey gave them courage to leave toxic homes, start over, or simply believe in themselves. Evelyn never forgot where she came from, but she no longer lived there. She had walked through fire and come out whole. Not because her family welcomed her back, but because she had finally welcomed herself. And that made all the difference.